Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Realist Podcast. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, of course I've missed you. I bet you've known I've been doing a little tinkering. Of course I have. Oh yeah. It's the Realist Podcast. It's an experience. That's what we do. We figure out ways to improve any and everything, especially you. But just to start off the show well tonight, how are you? I'm doing well. Oh my goodness. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I am doing extremely well tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for again subscribing, taking your time out to give me some watch outs too. That's great. Uh what I'm really trying to do is get you to watch my shows. And I'm trying my best to make sure that you are subscribing and that you're liking and that you're loving the content. But at the end of the day, let me tinker again because I wanted to show it. I wanted to start the show off because it still ain't catching on to the things that I specifically want. You know what I'm saying? So I had to add my little, my additives. I like that. You understand what I'm saying? I like how that looks. Um, yeah. Thank you again. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in to the Realist Podcast. It's gonna be a great show tonight. Of course it is. Oh yeah. Just gotta put my notes up. Here we go. But nevertheless, I have to give you the title. Why does the world celebrate Black American Indians subconsciously? Why did I use Black Americans and Black Americans? Everybody know who Black American is. They just don't like to admit it. That's all it is. For real. Like when you celebrate, when people know how to perform, that means they're not disillusioned. When people know how to be who they are, that means they're not disillusioned. That means they never have failed when other has failed. That means we know who we are. You understand? So I just want to give a shout out to my copper colored American Indians. Shout out to the indigenous class. Absolutely. We have to be and show and appreciate who and what we are because we see the world, see us a whole hell of a lot differently. Like we ain't got no damn friends. We have no fucking friends. And it's crazy because we have been friendly to all. It says it in the name, a merry Indian, meaning happy all the time. You see my smile. I smile. I'm happy. I try to get on this, this platform and give you a good show every time. And also, I'm able to give you, some things that are, you know, maybe you didn't think about. So at tonight's show, what we're going to talk about is, great pillars, people that I've learned from. I'm going to run down a lot of names, and I'm going to do some book sharings too. First of all, I want to give honor to J.A. Rogers. J.A. Rogers is an extreme, pivotal, intellectual, along with, with Nathaniel Huggins and, a few others. But we're talking about J.A. Rogers. Nature knows no color line. Because at some point in time, and I'm going to go into this book, Nature Knows No Color Line, because we're going to talk about how many, black, oh, indigenous, how complicated this American story actually and truly is. Let's be clear. It's all about identity at the end of the day. Your customs. See, America is the land of plenty is because it's the land of truth as well. The land of being, not constructions of deceit and dispelment. So when you have nature knows no color line, that's when you started introducing pivotal lies entails for power, achievement, access, as well as, let's call it like we see it, for real, opportunity, perhaps, opportunity. So when you're talking about Negroes in coats of arms of noble families, wow, okay. Negro ancestry in the white race. Oh shit. Here we go. Let me go back a page before though. Let me do this properly, if I may. Again, Nature Knows No Color Line, J.A. Rogers. If I may, I will read the back of this book for us just to give us a little understanding of what this classical work is. Because I think a lot of us dismiss or don't understand the type of elements that are woven into our mindsets. You understand? The mindset is an extremely important apparatus. It's how you function daily, it's how you judge people, it's how you see people, it's how you, at your first glance. But what if everything that you have learned about the people at that first glance was controlled by your apparatus that has been tweaked to do you more harm than good? So let's get into what this actual Nature Knows No Color Lines. Let's get into this book. Okay, let me before I read to you Negroes in coat of arms of noble families, because I am a part of those clans. But before I get to that, Negro ancestry and white race, I have to read you and give you a good little pivot to show you what this, a synopsis of what the book is about. Okay, so let's get into it. Classic work of Black study in refuting scientific racism. Oh, wow. I told you about Darwinism. All false, all bullshit, all parables of lies. Okay. J.A. Rogers is a thorough um historian slash remember, this is mid 1900s, mind you. Mind you. Okay, let's get into it. In Nature Knows No Color Line, originally published in 1952, historian Joel Augustus Rogers examines the origins of the racial hierarchy and the color problem. Rogers is a humanist who believed that there were no scientifically evidence of racial divisions. All humans belong to one race. He believed that color prejudice generally evolved from issues of domination and power between two physic- physical, physical, physiologically different groups. According to Rogers, color prejudice was then used as a rationale to dominate, subjugate, and warfare. Scientists developed myths, prejudice, in order to persuade their own interest at the expense of other groups. This book argues that many instances of the contributions of Black people have been left out of the history books and gives many examples. Oh, here we go. Many examples. Many examples. Have I told you about the redhead, Queen Charlotte? Oh, of course. I know I have. So, let's get into Negro Ancestry into the White Race by Joel Augustus Rogers. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. All right. Whereas, okay, whiteness, skin, have become a symbol of purity, goodness, and fine Christian living. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow, runs the hymn. Thus, the more bleached the skin, the more black bleached the character. Negro, albino, not included, of course. Negro, albino, not included, of course. Listen to these words. But whatever being the reason, the blondes are raved over in America and the brunettes aren't. However, in the Scandinavian lands, where, as one visits, remarked, blondes are a dime in thousands. Blonde skin, and hair count for no more than does black among the blacks in Central Africa or yellow among Chinese, unmixed blacks in Scandinavia. I have noticed attracted attention and, as usual, welcome. Okay, check it out. They often, some variety to the color scheme in certain villages in the West Indies where the people are dark. I have noticed similar welcome given to the white visitors for the same reason. Is color a sexual section of factor only in colonial or former colonial lands? Evidently not. You hear this? Evidently not. It probably goes back to the times when variety of skin color began to appear in a human race, or many hundreds of thousands of years ago. Since the first humans began were all of the same color, it is clear that the differences of color of skin is an important factor in human evolution. All humans began except albinos have some degree of color in their skin. Another question: when and where was the color first used a social, economic, and political factor? Many who have given thought to that say started in the invasion of the dark men's lands, Asia, Africa, America, by the whites of the 15th century. Lord Cromer, distinguished statesman, thought, however, that the question had never been competently examined. I am hmm, not aware, he said, that the competent scholar has ever examined into the question that staged the history at which difference of color acquired the importance it now possessed as a social and political factor. I think he is right. If it has been done, I have not seen it. Wow, buddy. I tell you, see, this is why it's important to know facts and scholarship, why certain decisions were made in order to do one thing. Very simple: lie and perpetuate a specific lie to gain power that was never yours, was supposed to be yours, was ever perceived to be yours if you had never misinterpreted and spread out propaganda because you are specifically inferior. Now, that has nothing to do with color, it has to do with a specific type of person. Hmm. Nature knows no color line. J.E. Rogers. So let's go beyond that. Okay. We've got the J.E. Rogers. We understand how specific and wonderful he was. Now let's also talk about Shake into the Up. I've showed you the books. Civilization of barbarism is what Europeans have said it's the argument, the going argument. Were you civilized? No. Did you smell well? No. Who taught you how to bathe? Not you. Who taught you how to dress? Not you. Who tailored you? Not you. What lands have you ever conquered? All lands because of what? You are indigenous to a land that you inherited that people taught you. Understand me and understand me well, please. Yeah, I get that from Dr. Clark, my favorite scholar. But dig, shake into the yop. Dr. Clark made sure he showed you in Africa because this was recent times. He, Sheikh Anta Diop, is a progenitor of the Sudanese. He was a God spell, a God being, a God like that showed you I have the same melanin as the people that you consume, the delectable Negro. Understand? So, consummation. Let's talk about consummation. Consummation is not just marrying into John Rolfe and Pocahontas. That's not consummation. That's consuming. Consuming a nation that you devoured, and now you see the spoils of your conquest, not a triumph. So you're seeking a triumph continuously after you have a continuum of spoils. You're psychotic, deranged, sick, delusional, despicable. You're not even digestible. You're grotesque. Moving right along. Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen told you, because he was a Western scholar as well as Dr. John Henry Clark, as well as, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus. Yeah, we had relationships. See, everything had to be shifted a certain way with verbiage in order for it to be palatable globally. What he really probably meant to say, as David Imhotep went further in the sand, they were aboriginal. Yeah, me. Aboriginal to the Americas from Pensacola, Florida. Yours truly. You dig? Danny D, the host of the Will Is podcast. I hope you subscribe. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I hope you understand that, hey, I'm only telling you the truth. I'm only giving to you what you should be told. All truths are lies. There's only one truth that survives. So you have to sit in the bosom of truth to realize what a lie actually and specifically is. And that ain't me. You under dig. But anyway, let me keep explaining and giving you the good news. As they say. Them Christian motherfuckers say, right? Them Christians say give you the good news. Right? Oh yeah, whatever. Fuck out of here. Okay. But what we do on the Wheel is Podcast, we fight for honor for humanity. We have the origins of humanity began it in the Americas. That's why the East is unsettled. That's why the West is becoming extremely unsettled. Because of the influences of dark forces, lies, and mindsets that were carefully orchestrated to destroy the internal being of you knowing yourself. So let's keep on going on with these. I got a list of these. Yeah, let's go. Here we go. All right. Willis Nathaniel Huggins, Dr. Martin Burnell. Willis Nathaniel Huggins was the author or the creator of, I bet y'all didn't know this shit, the Harlem Renaissance. He put them together. But also, a dark force came out of that one. You know who you are. Yeah. the creators of the slave master's history of why you have the Greek fraternal orders in the conquering blacks of the indigenous blacks of the Americas that want to wave their flags and throw their history around as if there are no indigenous people here that take offense to that. I take offense to blacks coming here and putting your flag in my face when I have been nothing but hospitable to you. I love you. I appreciate you. But I don't appreciate you treat me as if I am not conscious of my situation or your situation and why you are here. You are here because of why. Are you here to shame, browbeat, and say that you're better than me in my own land? And then tell me you're not from this land. That belongs to the. No, no, you know they're from Siberia as well. That's why you claim you're native and you don't think you got a big native. Shout out to the big chief. Shout out to Top Cats, the legendary Top Cats, for basically explaining to people the one thing. That was a big old Indian here, and we still here. So I got to give praise. I got to give praises to you know the legendary Top Cats for literally explaining to people in a very big way. Shout out Dane Calloway, yeah, straight up. Shout out to the FBAs, shout out to everybody proclaiming our true ancestral origins in history because these are very factual equations. And if you go back and you tune into the Wheel This podcast, and I will be refreshing the show, refreshing everything. I'm gonna do a refresh of everything that I'm doing right now. I'm gonna refresh it all because I owe it to you. This is a selfless show. Oh, absolutely. So we're gonna keep going forward so we can come to a conclusion soon. But right now we're gonna keep on cooking. You understand? So the thing is, it's another show I got. It's called Stop telling me who I am. Please don't don't do that. Find your origin, find your homeland. It's important for you to know. Just like I know my ancestral origins, wouldn't you want to know yours? If you understand that what you see here is absolutely indigenous here, why would you want to argue that fact? Why wouldn't you want to say, you are completely correct? You are absolutely right. And I shall find my quest and find the light of my people. But if you can't do that, I suspect that you are a destructive creature. Anyway, all right, so let me get some music playing. Shit, I want to hear some music. Yes, I do. All right, let's get to something nice. All right. I'm dope with it. That's cool. Yeah. I'm cool with cooking with that. But anyway, we got a little bit more to go. Here we go. We got a lot more to go. Okay. Anyway, with Amos N. Wilson, Dr. Amos N. Wilson, great intellectual. He was talking about infrastructure in the late 80s and early 90s. When he was talking about infrastructure, he was basically saying, he had pivoted from Dr. Clark. I think his specialty was infrastructure. How to build, how to think, how to build the resurgence of yourself within again. How to know who you were in order for you to readjust and posture yourself into a lively being that tells the truth and not a posturous being that cosplays. He was talking about realizing that your nation really does matter. And if you took time to understand where you come from, you should probably go to the Americas. But when you come here and you are so envious, so undigestible, and you have to say that you're greater than okay, we're gonna get past that. But anyway, okay. Next author, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Let me. And I got books for all of these, but I just got this is a special one. Special. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Oh yes, she's here. I can feel her book. It's right here. It's the ISIS papers. Yes, the ISIS papers. Oh, absolutely. She is the greatest. Let me read you a good old passage out of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. You know, the great one. Let me get to this. The contents of this book, check this out. The Cress theory of color, confrontation, and racism, white supremacy. The origins and alienation, anxiety, and narcissism. Unified field theory psychiatry. Learning to look at symbols. The symbols of Christ, the cross, and crucifixion. Let me read this for most of you people of foreign descent. Yeah, I got a burp. I'm a real person. You should feel privileged. Anyway, I'm privileged to be able to give you this good knowledge. But anyway, the symbolism of Christ, the cross, the crucifix, and the communion, and Christian holidays. All right. So, let's read. The basic discussion of white genetic survival through the possession and control of black male genital apparatus. Black male genital apparatus. It carried forth unconsciously in the precepts and practices of a global white supremacy system of primary religion, Christianity. The fundamental concepts are manifested in Christianity's central patterns of symbols. In fact, it's the religion of activity that the highest level of a symbolic discussion emerges. Whereas the testicles are the aspects of a male anatomy that contains the dominant genetic material. The penis is the aspect of a transporter of the genetic material that initiates the production of life and skin color. If one were so a simple schematic diagram of a genital organ of a male anatomy, the diagram might look like diagram 1, the male genitalia, diagrammatic, sketch penis and testicle, front diagram. Now, I ain't gonna go too further in this, but I hope you understand. So the cross means, for me to be a Christian, it is to annihilate myself through understanding and viewing things through the eyes of what has annihilated me. So understand, I have no problem with a person being a Christian. That's where they gather their strength. But as long as you're not weaponizing it against me, as long as you understand who gave you that construct, okay, that was your African father. So, this has been a fulfilled show. We got a little bit more to go. All right. Dr. Shahrazad Ali. Her book is on this show. But it's so many that women that have such a specific problem and issue with that gorgeous, wonderful epitome of a lady. What a lady really is, how a lady really supposed to really be and really represent for, uh, her kind, her being, her likeness, her truthfulness. She's a very endearing human being if you listen to her words, but some women have that Lilith gene. Lilith is a bad motherfucker. She want to fight everybody, fight everything, fight every situation. Don't give a shit. Just got something to say every time somebody tell her something good. She got something to say about that shit. She always fight. I always fucking with you. That's a demon. It's a demon ass woman, man. This motherfucker always want something fucked up for you, but nothing good for you. They like what you have to offer, but it ain't nothing that they don't do well at being a good mate. So you have to go with the indigenous of the heart that's connected to yours, that connection, that vigilance, something that makes you stay together, that connection is very important. That's your lifesaver. That's what keep you renewed, keep you understood how life is good if you allow it to be. Focus on your inside out and no outside in energies. Put yourself on a fast and last. Reformulate your consumptions. You understand? But that was, Dr. Shahrazad Ali lets women know, like, y'all consumption base is bad. That's why y'all be sucking pussy. But anyway, let me get off. All right. Bobby Hemmett, truth teller, foreseer. Yeah, the explainer. The pivotal doctor. The one that make you see you where you should realize how you should determine how you see fit to live. Bobby Hemmett was a truth teller. Salute. And power. All right, here we go. Clive Winners. See? Down here. Here we go. Right here. See, when you're a genius, you create the nationality and a law for foundational Black Americans because that's a wide ethnic group. So let me read you something from the great doctor so that you can understand why he is, who he is. The nationality and law of foundational Black Americans, Native Americans around the Great Lakes, Minnesota, Missouri country, and Louisiana. The Europeans also needed labor to work in the fields. The American provided the Native Americans with guns and cheap goods and purchased Native Americans and Indian slaves between 1670 and 1720 by B.N.A. were enslaved. The B.N.A. were sold into slavery through the 13 colonies, Canada, the British West Indies. The majority of the B.N.A. sold into slavery by white and Indian slave traders were the Choctaw, the Yamasee, and other Caroline tribes. Where the sub-Saharan Africans come from, the percentages of African slaves taken to the U.S. Sahel would have been found among Senegambians, 19% Gold Coast, Bright of Benin and Bright of Bafar, 32% combined with last three groups. However, the good amount a Senegambia region were from the savannah. Even the allocated the Senegambians to the Sahel. That's only 20%. That's only 30%. Sahelians would have been fewer percentage in the Gold Coast, birth of Benin, and the birth of Biafra. So Clive Winters breaks down the transatlantic, but he also breaks down see, Kimberly, black people are indigenous to the Americas. See, what you understand, what you don't understand was we were an extreme global people that had families and origins, and these things happened continentally as well. See, connected we were throughout, rich we were throughout, broken apart we are. Have you ever noticed how some of you have the same characteristics? A little off, a little on. And you'll fight over those menial things. You have some Africans won't accept the fact that they may be Americans because of cultural ties or likenesses. Vice versa. If you can prove it genetically, like I can prove genetically that, hey, I'm just a copper-colored American. If I had African markers, I would be happy, proud, and appreciative, and thoroughly appreciative, and grateful. But my marker is my skin tone, if you hadn't noticed. You may think I talk trash or talk shit. No, I bring light and lube to what you missed out on. The copper color indigenous here. If you think I'm supposed to praise you, well, how the hell I'm supposed to forget all the people in the graves that I come from here? And I'm sorry, but maybe your story is a little different from mine. Because I appreciate my copper color American Indians that I'm from right here in my homeland, America. You understand? I hope you can appreciate that. Because I can definitely appreciate you and where you're from. But understand where you are. Check it out. Got a few more to go. Renoko Rashidi. That's the champion that gave the indigenous the global presence and connections. Great author. Dr. Kaba Hawate Kamate, one of my favorite scholars. He was a teacher, a doctor. He's a great one and a very learned one. I would also give a shout out to Dr. James Small. We have our disagreements. We think we all came from Africa and you are an indigenous American Indian here. Okay, well, I guess we have our differences, like I say. Okay. Dr. Ray Higgins, salute to you, African Village. Like I tell you, I have no problem in Africa. I just know that things are just a little bit more different than y'all doctors even think. But anyway, okay, let's keep going. Okay, we got him to Clive on us. I got him on here twice because I respect that. Okay, and that's just to name a few. But anyway, Black Americans are indigenous to this nation and this country, North America, and that's where everybody got a bug up their ass. That's why they celebrate us subconsciously, because you know who we completely are. See that work in the field? I promise you, man, walking outside today doing a little work, I lost my memory. I forgot if I came through the back door. Get your ass beat by the sun for 100 years and goddamn see what you won't lose your fucking memory. You understand? The elements and the tactics and the destruction of the nature doesn't mean DNA doesn't know where it is, what point of time it is, and how it's constructed. Let's move right along because we almost done. So, I hear a lot of Black Americans are being fired. That's crazy. Dr. A, he just said, Dr. A, he just put out there that like they hiring 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 people to do a job of one Black American because of the way we think. We are a special people. See, if you want to win, if you want to make some money, you know who to hire, but you have to pay us. Pay us. This country will survive. Pay us. Allow us to do our jobs in our own nation. We are the progenitors. No one can do our jobs better than us. No one can come here and ever conquer us. It's been tried and failed. All failed to conquer the copper-colored one, the great one, the super god that's still alive after being allowed to be charted down, brought back up by his own mind, will, independent mindset through study of his own genetic compounds. This is the Willis Podcast. And that's the show tonight. But I tell you this, understand me and understand me well. The will is your space. Be easy.